If you've watched my videos before, you'll know that my channel is all about Conan Exiles, a gritty, dark and savage survival RPG. Conan Exiles and, of course, Conan the Barbarian 2 are the epitome of sword and sorcery. So, imagine my surprise when I hear there's a new Conan the Barbarian game available. What is it? Well, Conan Hordeslayer is a new base defense game set in the world of Conan the Barbarian, and to make things stranger, it's on the Roblox platform. Some of you may have heard of it before, but if not, Roblox is a sort of Lego-esque game creation and development platform primarily aimed at kids and teenagers. Now, to be honest, I played Roblox back when I was like 12 or 13 and it was pretty simple. Now, well, it's far more, and it actually seems like a legitimately good platform for getting into game development or just playing other people's creations, with over 160 million players, including apparently more than half of all American children under 16. It's a pretty huge platform, home to a massive variety of games, from horror to tycoons to obstacle courses to first-person shooters and everything in between. Yes, this game is built on the same platform as this one. Mind-boggling, to be honest, but seeing Conan appear here is still unusual. So, what's the deal? Conan Hordeslayer is developed by Funcom themselves and is a pretty simple concept. King Conan frees you from his jail cell, tells you his scouts have found several black stone obelisks, and you're sent to defend them. That's basically it. For fans of Conan Exiles, you'll instantly recognise many of the styles and aesthetics, alongside textures lifted directly from Exiles itself. However, with this being Roblox, well, there's a fair few things that are a bit odd. For fans of the lore or the wider source material, there's actually a fair bit here. The obelisks that you defend aren't just there. You instead travel to outposts and cities in different countries around the world. The first few levels, for example, are set in Turan, where you must defend the obelisk alone or with up to 5 other players against imps, exiles, kappas, and plenty of other familiar foes in places like Vezek Outpost, Fort Ardashir, and Zambula City. To defend the obelisk, you've got to stop the enemies reaching and attacking it through both proactive and reactive defence by clearing hordes, and also building up reinforcements to slow them down. The enemy variety is surprisingly broad, especially as you get deeper into the game, where you'll find various monsters and humans from the franchise, including Children of Jill, berserkers, imps carrying explosive jars, etc. As you slay enemies, they'll drop small pouches from which you gain various loot items that you can sell or use for crafting, and if you're successful on a mission you get a lump sum of coins and loot alongside a boss head, which can be used to craft better gear or advance to further stages. You can spend your coins at the vendors outside in sort of the main commons area. You'll also recognise their models from Conan Exiles, and they sell you better gear and such. There are also microtransactions, I think, using Robux, which is Roblox's premium currency. From what I can tell, most if not all games on the platform has them as a way to fund the platform itself, as it is entirely free to play, and I believe the developers themselves get some of the proceeds of their game too. The gameplay loop is really just that simple. Complete a mission, come back, restock or invest in new gear, then take on a tougher mission. There's different tiers of weapons, potions and armours, but sadly, no Silent Legion. Now, I've not played Roblox in a long time, and even when I did, I always generally preferred shooters, so my initial performance was, not great.
What are you aiming at?
It's a little clunky, but you get used to it. It's a very simple combat system, if I'm being honest. It definitely loses some of the grit of Conan's usual style, but you know, this is a game for kids and teenagers, you don't really want blood and gore in there. Instead, it's quite a light-hearted take on Conan's themes. Clumsy at times, almost absurd in seeing people in various strange cosmetics running around swinging a bone club, but kinda charming in a weird way. I'll be honest, I wasn't too enthralled until I realised you can zoom the camera into first person, and with a crossbow, you basically end up playing a first-person shooter version of Conan. It's pretty fun. Playing in first person with a great sword and a crossbow kinda gives me Killing Floor vibes, to be honest. The harder missions are pretty cool, the game isn't afraid to throw a challenge at you with a large number of enemies or bosses like Rock Branch or King Rocknoses, and to be honest, for such a simple game, there is most definitely a bit of a skill curve here where the good players will be able to clear missions without taking a hit. But that being said, it's very much geared towards playing with a team, especially anything past the easy Terranium missions. Also, as a side note, the soundtrack is honestly really good. It's this kind of dungeon synthy, almost ambient track in a way. You don't really notice it unless you're actively listening for it, but it is rather nice and suits the world really well. So outside of the absurdity of playing Conan Bloxiles, I wanted to answer the question, is the game any good? You know what? It's not half bad, to be honest. It's kind of clumsy, kind of goofy, but feels like a decent way to represent Conan in a lighter, more family-friendly way. The gameplay loop is short and sweet and really easy to jump in and out of, and probably the best thing about it is that this game gives younger people a really good platform to start to get interested in Conan the Barbarian, both other games like Exiles and Age of Conan, or the source material itself. I don't think it's any great secret that the Conan the Barbarian fanbase tends to skew a bit older, but the actual property itself is timeless and full of rich and enjoyable content in many forms. Conan Horde Slayer probably won't appeal to most people watching this channel, and it might be just a bit of dumb fun, but you know what, as a way to draw younger fans into the franchise, I think it's pretty cool. And with that, there you have it, Conan Horde Slayer. To be perfectly honest, I've never thought I'd be making a video on a Roblox game, especially a Conan the Barbarian one, but stranger things have happened, I guess. Thank you for watching, and of course a massive thanks to our wonderful, esteemed coffee cultists for continuing to support the channel over on Patreon. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe for plenty Conan Exiles content, including builds, news, lore, reviews, and much more. Take care, and I'll see you soon.